devotional service.
Yeah.
25 first shloka.
Text one. Yeah. Text one.
Yeah.
Okay, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Mataji, did we finish 46th and 47th also?
Yes, Mataji, we finished now.
Okay, thank you so much, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarini Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Bhaja Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Jai Srila Prabhupada Gaur Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bo Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Welcome Prabhuji. Pranams Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Welcome to the ICF Forum. Over to you, Prabhuji.
Yeah, thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. So thank you for the wonderful kirtan. So is the voice okay? Are you all able to hear me?
Yes, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Okay.
Shall I share the screen, Prabhuji?
Yeah, if you can do it, it will be nice.
Yes, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Okay, Hare Krishna and endless pranams to all the devotees. So welcoming you all for the start of the week, Monday morning, Srimad Bhagavatam. So,
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, pranams.
endless pranams. So have this good fortune to do this particular seva on this wonderful day of Ekadashi. So today we are looking at a new chapter. This chapter is the chapter which is called as the Glories of Devotional Service. And we'll do verses 1 to 5 in here. So before we get started, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narotamam Devim Saraswatam Vyasam Tato Jaya Mudirayet Nashta Prayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtaki Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langayate Girim Yat Kripatam Aham Vande Sri Guru Dinatarinam Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram. Krishna. Okay, the first verse I'll read, then the others can repeat. I mean, then somebody else can also read afterwards. Shaunaka Uvacha Kapilastatva Bhagavan Atmamayaya Jata Swayam Ajas Sakshad Atma Prajnaptaye Naranam. So this.
Hare Krishna. Yes, Prabhuji. Shall I call out Prabhuji? The names?
Yeah,
To
you
read?
can call out. Yes, please go.
Hare Krishna. Vasudha Mataji, you can read the translation, and
No, they
Sudha
can
Mataji,
read
you
the
can read.
verse again if they want. So
Okay, Prabhuji. Purport, Prabhuji, no need, no, Prabhuji.
no need of the purport.
Vasudha Mataji, you can read the shloka. Sudha Mataji, you can read the translation. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam Prabhuji.
Done.
Saunaka uvacha kapilastatva sankyata Bhagavan Atma Mayaya Jata Swayam Aja Sakshad Atma Prajnaptaye Nranam. Hare Krishna, thank you very much, Prabhuji.
Thank you so much, Bhaji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. Translation by His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Sri Shaunaka said, although he is unborn, the Supreme Personality of Godhead took birth as Kapila Muni by his internal potency. He descended to disseminate transcendental knowledge for the benefit of the whole human race. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Mataji. We'll go to the next verse.
Hare Krishna. Shobha Mataji, you can read the shloka, and Prashanti Mataji, you can read the translation.
Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam Prabhuji and Mataji, shloka number 2. Nahi asya vashmana pumsam varinaha sattvayoginam vishrutho sutavedasya bruhi tripyanti me asavaha. Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. Translation by Prabhupada ki Jai. Shaunaka continued. There is no one who knows more than the Lord himself. No one is more worshipable or more mature a yogi than he. He is therefore the master of the Vedas, and to hear about him always is the actual pleasure of the senses. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much. The next.
Sharmila Mataji, you can read the shloka, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yadyad vidatte Bhagavan swachandatmatma mayaya tani me. Hare Krishna. Can you hear me, right?
Yes, Mataji.
Yeah, we can hear.
Okay, sorry. Yadyad vidatte Bhagavan swachandatmatma mayaya tani me shraddhadanasya kirtanyani anukirtaya. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Padma Mataji, you can read the translation, Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Translation by Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Therefore, please precisely describe all the activities and pastimes of the personality of Godhead, who is full of self-desire and who assumes all these activities by his internal potency. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Prashanti Mataji, you can read the shloka, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Suta uvacha Vaipayana sakastvam tvaevam Maitreyo Bhagavanstata Prahedam viduram prita anvikshikyam prachoditaha. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Translation by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Prabhupada, Prabhupada ki Jai. Sri Suta Goswami said, the most powerful sage Maitreya was a friend of Vyasadeva. Being encouraged and pleased by Vidura's inquiry about transcendental knowledge, Maitreya spoke as follows. Sudha Mataji, you can read the shloka, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandat Pranam.
Hare
Maitreya Uvacha Pitari Prastite Ranyam Matu Priya Chikeshaya Tasmin Bindu Sare Vatsid Bhagavan Kapila Kila. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Translation by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Prabhupada. Prabhupada ki jai. Maitreya said, when Kardama left for the forest, Lord Kapila stayed on the strand of the Bindu Sarovara to please his mother Devahuti. Hare Krishna. Jai Srila Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna. So, devotees, once again, thank you all for the reading of the shlokas and the translations. So, before we get started, Om Ajnan Atimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschayata Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gauravakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So before we get started, seeking the blessings of all the devotees, all the Matajis and Prabhus who are here. So kindly bless me so that I'll be able to do some justice to these wonderful verses and the purports by Srila Prabhupada. And this I'm doing as a seva or a service to the Guru Parampara and for the pleasure of the Lordships, and also as a purification for my own self. Okay, Hare Krishna. So now, if you look at this particular verses, this is the beginning of the chapter, which is titled as The Glories of Devotional Service. So just a quick background. So you all will are seeing we are in this aspect of, I mean, the pastimes of Kapila, Lord Kapila. So we are seeing how in the previous chapter we saw how Kardama Muni he attained Bhagavati Gatihi. Means this Bhagavati Gati means we know it is speed, or it is speed in a particular direction. So that means it is progress, Gati, Parama Gati. So like that. This Bhagavati Gati he attained, and then Lord Kapila says to Kardama Muni, go as you desire. Surrender all your activities to me. In the previous shlokas, you can see, he's saying you can go as you desire because he wanted to leave the home. He wanted to go to the next ashrama. He didn't want the grihastha ashrama. So he says, you go as you desire, but you surrender all your activities to me. That is the Lord, the Son, that is Lord Kapila. He's speaking on the position of the Lord, and then he is saying that you please surrender all your activities to me and worship me eternally. And then actually Lord Kapila is also saying why he came to this material world. Why did he incarnate as his son? He's telling Kardama Muni. He's saying that I came here because of the path of self-realization that was lost in this world. So it is a very difficult path. Lord Kapila is saying, and then he says that this has been lost, so I have come as your son to introduce and explain the philosophy again to mankind. So at this point, you all can recall the 2 verses of Bhagavad Gita, which is Yada Yada Hi Dharmasya Glanar Bhavati Bharata. And then Paritranaya Sadhunam. So he says why he comes. Then he also says when he comes first. And then he says why he comes. So you can see that whenever there is incarnation, then there is always degradation of dharma, which he wants to put back or re-establish the process of dharma. And then also, of course, give pleasure to the devotees, which is what we've seen in Bhagavad Gita. So now here also it is the same thing. So he has a purpose, which is to bring forth the Sankhya philosophy and then re-establish it. So that's one of the primary reasons. And then, of course, to give pleasure to the devotees of the Lord, to give association. And also to, by the display of the Leelas, then it gives an attraction to the other people that they want to go there. It's like a trailer. So there's sometimes, they show some trailers or teasers or whatever you want to call it, just to give an indication of what to expect in the larger event. So that's how the Lord enacts his pastimes here, which is like a teaser or a trailer for the eternal pastimes that are always happening in the spiritual world. So in this way, he's carrying out his various tasks, as explained in the Srimad Bhagavatam. And then, actually, what happens is, after hearing all this, Kardama Muni actually circumambulates the Lord Kapila. And then he goes, so you have a situation where the father is actually going around the son, S-O-N, son. And then he leaves with a very good and a pacified mind. He is at peace with himself, Kardama Muni. And then why he is at peace? Because son is assuring, or Lord Kapila is assuring that he will take care of the mother. And then so that he can continue. He is saying, like, you can go as your desire, but surrender your activities to me. So that's the message that, that Lord Kapila is giving to Kardama Muni. Now, Kardama Muni carried out the instructions of the Lord, and because of that, he got his mercy, and he went towards the Lord. He went towards liberation, towards Bhagavati Gati. So now, who is Lord Kapila? So we all know he is the incarnation of the Lord. How do we know he is the incarnation of the Lord? So initially, the whole pastime of the birth of, or the appearance of Lord Kapila, we saw how Kardama Muni is doing meditation, and then the Lord himself is telling him how a week from now, Manu, who's the king of the Brahmanda, he is going to come, and then he has a daughter called as Devahuti, and then so he'll come to offer his daughter in marriage to you, and like this, there's a prediction that is happening, and then we saw how those events unfolded. So actually, Kardama Muni was also aware that Lord is going to incarnate as his son, and that is what happened. So the son, that is Kapila, is actually an incarnation of the Lord. Now that's the background. And then, now if you look at this particular verse, it says, Shaunaka Vacha. So Shaunaka Rishi, you all recall, where is Shaunaka Rishi sitting when this conversation is going on?
Naimisharanya forest.
Haribol, Naimisharanya. And who's speaking? He is addressing whom?
Suta Goswami.
Suta Goswami, correct. And they are talking about a conversation between who and who? Now we know.
Maitreya and Vidura.
Yeah.
Maitreya and Vidura.
Yeah, very nice. So, because every day you're hearing and then you're also following so nicely. Thank you. So, Shaunaka is saying about the Lord Kapila that he is unborn. And though he is unborn, he is born as a son of Devahuti, and that is the mercy of the Lord. Why he is being born here or he incarnates, that is to decimate the transcendental knowledge to benefit human race. So this is the purpose. Now, and that's what we saw in the purport also, I think. Just try to read this 1 second. Shaunaka said, although he is unborn, the Supreme Personality of Godhead took birth as Kapila Muni by his internal potency. He descended to decimate the transcendental knowledge for the benefit of the whole humanity. So this is again a summary of the shlokas Yada Yada Hi Dharmasya. Now, if you look at the purport, then Srila Prabhupada is bringing out various aspects here. So Prabhupada says that this word Atma Prajnaptaye indicates that the Lord descends for the benefit of human race to give transcendental knowledge. We saw that. Prabhupada also further says that material necessities that are needed for the human race or for people like all of us, that is already existing. It is already provided for in the Vedic knowledge. So the Lord, he made this creation and then he made it. What is the primary quality of the creation of the Lord? The Lord himself is Purnam, and then his creation is also Purnam. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purna Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadhaya Purnameva Shishyate. So the Lord is Purnam. Anything coming out of the Lord is Purnam. So like that. So everything is Purnam. Purnam means complete or self-sustaining. So everything is included there. So he created the material world, which is Purnam, because you don't have to go outside of the material world for all your necessities, whatever the material necessities that we have for satisfying our hunger or our thirst and everything, all the desires, it can be taken care. So you have something there which is the object of our desire. So everything is having a match in that way, and there is nothing that is without a match. So this is how the Lord, whenever he creates, then there is wholeness in the whole creation. And then Prabhupada is saying that the Vedic knowledge is there to take care of all the necessary material desires. And then there is a program that is being offered to the living condition. So actually the Lord has created the material world and then given the Vedas and then said, go ahead and then go and then enjoy yourself. But then at the same time, because that is what you primarily wanted to do. But then if you enjoy in the way that you want it without any guideline, then you will run into trouble, because then you will have to suffer the consequences of the disturbances that you created in the process of your enjoyment. We are just enjoying, then in the process of enjoyment, we create a lot of disturbance to the balance that is there. So we disturb or inconvenience other living entities. And that is not going to work well with the Lord, because for the Lord, everybody is equal. So you cannot inconvenience others for your pleasure. And so inconvenience or harm, or however you want to read that. Okay, so in that way, then the Lord says that you'll have to suffer the consequences because you did something that you're not supposed to do. So enjoyment is not against, but the process of enjoyment is how we go around mindlessly. That is not something that the Lord has given the guidelines on. So there is a guideline on how we should do it. So there are, there is a samyama, or there is a boundary within which, so there is a suitable time, place, there is a way in which it has to be done, and then so on and so forth. So this is what the Vedas talk about. We all know that. So that is why Prabhupada says that it offers a program for good living. So good living, if you want to live a good life, then enjoy certain things, you can do that. But then you follow the Vedic scriptures and then carry out or do things as given in those scriptures. And then you also take the benefit and then you have some enjoyment. But at the same time, there is another parallel activity that happens, which means that it will gradually lead you
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji has left the meeting. Please join again. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, we can't hear you, Prabhuji. You are muted.
Okay, I'm so sorry. For some reason, I got disconnected. Apologies. So what, I don't know. I'm not sure what I was saying when this happened. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
So
Not
when did
able
I
to-
get disconnected? I was not sure.
Prabhuji, we're talking about that Kardama Muni, that how the Lord descends on earth. Why does he do that? Not completely, I'm able to recollect. Hare Krishna. Any Matajis,
Okay.
please?
Yes, Mataji, that only Mataji, what you told. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So thank you for that. So, like I was saying, so in this way, one second, this just okay. You have shared something. I'm sorry. I was wondering why it is not moving. Okay, I have mine. Just let me open it. So the Vedas are there to elevate one, and then everything is there. I was talking about how it is Purnam, the creation, and everything is self-sustained. That's what Prabhupada is trying to bring out here. And then he says that we have the Vedas for that, and then it will help us to promote good living, and also it gives us a gradual elevation to platform of goodness and then liberation. So that's what is there in the four Purusharthas, if you recall. So what are the four Purusharthas that we have?
Dharma, Artha, Kama,
Artha,
Moksha.
Kama, Moksha.
Dharma, Artha, Kama, and Moksha. So
Kama, Moksha.
Dharma is the Vedas, then Artha, and then Kama. So you use the Vedas, instructions that are given there, follow the dharmic principles, and then earn some money, and then Artha, that means be in a position where you will be able to acquire things for yourself or whatever, and then fulfill your desires, which is the Kama. But then, since you are doing it under the guidance of the Dharma or the Vedic instructions, so it will actually lead one to moksha. So how does that happen? That was the question that I was asking, and that is when I realized that I got disconnected. So how does that happen? Anybody wants to give a quick try?
Hare Krishna, only by devotional service, Prabhuji, as the devotee progresses from one stage to another.
Okay, but what happens when one does enjoyment based on the scriptures?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Elevated, Prabhuji.
By devotional knowledge and service, one raises to the platform in which he knows what is the actual purpose of life and therefore attains Mukti. Prabhuji.
If he goes
actual
by the
purpose of
scripture,
life he knows. So this is all on the plus side. So he's gathering knowledge, information from the Vedas. But Vedas is promoting certain sense gratification activities. So by following the instructions given on the sense gratificatory processes in the Vedas, what happens to the sense gratification itself?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, it is
purified,
like
Prabhu. And he'll
a person who is suppose he eats a lot. Sometimes he will feel next day I do not want to eat at all. So they
Exactly.
promote dharma. Based on dharma only we have to have artha, that is our economic development, not based on illegal activities or sinful activities. Once we have artha, our desires are fulfilled. And sometimes somewhere there will be a point where I am fed up of all this, and finally I look forward for moksha. So this is not, I'm not able to be happy with this sort of a karma.
Yeah, very
Hare
true. So
Krishna,
all of you are
Prabhuji,
correct
may
there.
I
In fact, more
please?
correct now, Mataji. Thank you for that. So what happens? I heard somebody say it purifies us. So what is purification? Purification means the material contamination. So that is correct. So you explain the material contamination now, which is we become tired of it, like, and then you develop some amount of what do you call your attachment decreases, and then you'll and that's how it is. That is why that happens, is because it is the Lord's instructions that you're following, the Vedas you're following. So the mercy of the Lord is acting through the Vedas which is given by him, and thereby we are able to detach ourselves. The vairagya is coming, or we are able to see it with equanimity. It doesn't affect us. Now this is what is being termed as moving to the platform of goodness, trying to see things in the way they are. So we know there are these three modes: the mode of sattva, raja, and then tamo. Tamoguna is in the mode of ignorance, mode of passion, and then the mode of goodness. So that is tamo, rajo, and sattva. So now generally people are in the mode of ignorance because they don't know. And in the mode of ignorance, there is no understanding that can come about. That is what Prabhupada is saying. So the only way we can understand or we'll gain some knowledge is when we are in the mode of goodness. So it is necessary for us to elevate ourselves to the mode of goodness. And when we elevate to the mode of goodness, then only the knowledge transfer happens, if I can say that. Because that knowledge which is there in the Vedas, all this Adhyatmika knowledge cannot be appreciated by ordinary people. Because ordinary people means then they are either in the mode of ignorance, mostly, predominantly, or in the mode of passion. So now passion also, the reception will not happen. Even if you try to tell somebody, you might have experienced that in preaching. You try to tell somebody something about Adhyatmika, it sounds so far-fetched. Say, I mean, is it for real? What are you saying? That kind of a reaction that they have on their faces. I don't want to hear this, or it doesn't make any sense to me. So that, that kind of a thing. That's not because their intelligence is less, because Krishna or the scriptures already say that in human form only we can understand the Lord, or we can understand dharma or adhyatmika things can be deliberated on, spoken, and all that. But then you have a contradiction here. The person is not, he's saying very clearly, he or she is saying, I don't know what you're saying. So why is that happening? That's because of the mode in which they are operating. And that mode is the mode of ignorance or the mode of passion. I mean, this is not very hard for us to understand. You take a regular material example. We have material intelligence, which tells, a person is very agitated in the mode of passion, very angry, something happened, and then, so agitated. So that person, you try to reason out, he will not reason out. So what do? Subconsciously, we try to calm him down. So this calming him or her down, this calming process is what we might just say, okay, just give a patient hearing, ask that person to sit down, give a glass of water. So what are we actually doing here? What is the energy of the Lord that we are utilizing here? We are actually taking some time. We are giving that person some time. We are allowing time to act on that individual. Maybe half a minute, maybe 1 minute. But That is the energy of the Lord. That is Lord himself. He says, I am time. So the Lord is there everywhere, whichever way you look at it. So if you have to get out of this thing, that is why patience is a virtue, they say, because patience means then we are actually associating with time, which is the energy of the Lord. And time is the healer. So there also. So if you look at all those verses which talk about that, you'll know the importance of time, and then you'll know it is Krishna himself. Because Krishna and for the non-believers, I come as death. Death is the culmination. It's like how time and death, it's like that's how Krishna puts it across in Bhagavad Gita. So we are taking time, we are allowing time, which is the energy of the Lord, to act on that individual, and it has a calming effect. And then you tell what you have to tell, then he or she is in a better position to accept it. So we are actually raising them to the position of goodness. That is making them come out of themselves, not become emotionally involved in a situation or something, but look at it from the intelligence angle or look at it objectively. So all these constitute raising oneself to the mode of goodness, where you're able to calmly think and then come to a decision. So this is not possible for an ordinary person. That is why Prabhupada says disciplic succession becomes very, very important. And disciplic succession means from the Lord, and then from the Lord, when the knowledge is coming down through disciplic succession, then that knowledge is preserved. If it is coming, because people in the disciplic succession are in the mode of goodness, so they are able to accept that knowledge that is coming and then pass it on without adulteration. That's the maturity that they will have, and then it goes on. So now the knowledge, where is it coming from? Has to come from the Lord. So the knowledge coming from the Lord is the topmost knowledge. We all know that. Why it is topmost is what is being told in the next shloka, where he's saying that the Lord is the supreme. Shaunaka is continuing to say, there is no one who knows the Lord more than nobody knows about the Lord. And then nobody is more worshipable or more mature yogi than he. So anything coming from the Lord is 100% right. We can just accept it. That is why it is called as tattva, because it will not change over time, over circumstances. It is the same. It applies across all circumstances, across all times. It is the same. The knowledge doesn't change, whereas science can change. So this way, the Lord is referred to as the master of the Vedas. And to hear from him always is the actual pleasure of the senses. So when we are hearing from the Lord, then it gives us pleasure to our senses, the eyes, the ears and all. When we are hearing, we want to hear more and more. And this is how it is paraspara, that's like reciprocatory it is. And of course, in the purport, Prabhupada takes the example, takes what is quoted in Bhagavad Gita, and then he says that there can be no one who is equal to or greater than the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Yes, we know that. That is why he is called as, what is he called as? Samurdhava. Thank you so much. So he is, because no one is, means no, sama means equal, urdhava means greater. No one who is equal or greater than the Lord. This is confirmed in the Vedas. It is known as Eko Bahunam Yo Vidadhati Kaman. So that's shloka in the Bhagavad Gita. So he is a supreme living entity, and then he is supplying all the necessities to the living entities. So we know that. Now, the Prabhupada is bringing out the aspect of two kinds of living entities. What are the two kinds of living entities? There is this Vishnu Tattva and then Jiva Tattva. And then he is also establishing the relationship that is there between Vishnu Tattva and Jiva Tattva. What is the relationship between Vishnu Tattva and Jiva Tattva? I'm presuming we know what is Vishnu Tattva and what is Jiva Tattva. What is the relationship?
Master and servant.
Very well. So full points. So master and servant. So we are subordinate to the Supreme Lord. We can never be equal because the Lord is Asama Urdhava. And then all his expansions are also Purna. So we saw that. So that is why collectively, if you look at Vishnu Tattvas, they are superior to collectively when we look at Jiva Tattva. So Jivatma and Paramatma, they are never equal. One is actually subordinate to the other. So at a collective level, when we say Paramatma and Jivatma, it is individually, like one soul and one Amsha of the Lord, which is in our heart as Paramatma. If you look at collectively, then it is Vishnu Tattva and Jiva Tattva, collectively. So they can never be equal, they are subordinate. So this is also confirmed here. See, everything that we know, all the Tattva is being confirmed. And that is what Prabhupada is trying to highlight here. So he is saying that nobody can be richer than the Lord, nobody can be more famous, more stronger, more beautiful, more wiser, and more renounced. So what are these? These are the qualities that was identified by who? Who brought this out? Father of Vyasadeva. He defined the Lord as the most richest, most famous, most strongest, and the most beautiful, the most wisest. And then, even though he had all these qualities, and he was the most renounced. So nobody can beat him in any of these parameters, and much more than that also. So he is that. So that's the position of the Lord. So this was told by Parashar Muni, father of Vyasadeva. So he is the one who defined this. So these qualities make him the Supreme Lord, and he is also the cause of all causes. So, in fact, yogis become very proud of performing certain wonderful feats, but that is incomparable when you look at the Supreme Personality Lord of Godhead and what he can do. So, in this way, he is the Yogishwara. He is the master of all the yogis. And then he is also Yogeshwara, It's like that, all the words begin to have meaning. Without a meaning, the Lord is never named that way. So he is Govinda because he gives pleasure to all our senses. So when we hear he gives pleasure means what? He doesn't come and satisfy all our needs or desires. So you hear about him, you do some sevas for him. So using our senses, then naturally there is pleasure that comes in. So that's the reciprocation that the Lord does. So that is why he is called as Govinda. And then he is most worshipable. So the position of the Lord is established in this particular verse. And then we go on to the next, which is saying that the Lord, even though he has come as an incarnation, he is the son of Kardama Muni and Devahuti Mata, still he is the Lord, the Supreme Lord, because Lord is Lord, always. There is never a time when the Lord is not Lord. Correct, na? So we know this philosophy. Because even if Krishna, when you say he was a small boy, he was just born, a just born baby. See, in the material world, for an individual, for Jiva Tattva, a small baby, that baby's intelligence or strength or prowess or any of those abilities that are there is very limited, discovered. It is still not manifested fully. Over a period of time, the baby grows and becomes a man, a young man, boy, or whatever. Then all those intelligence, everything manifests in its fullness then. But for the Lord, it is not like that. In whatever situation the Lord is, he carries all these qualities with him, and he is full, he is Purnam, and he is the Supreme Lord at all times. There's never a time when, he was a baby, so that description will not hold good for the Lord when baby Krishna, it doesn't hold good. No, it's not like that. So the Lord is Lord always. Then his position is not compromised. But whereas for us, it's not like that. So that is why we can understand how we and the Lord can never be equal. And so Shaunaka Rishi is saying that he is the fountainhead or the start of a parampara. And then the disciplic succession. So every time he comes and then he does that. So when he gave the Bhagavad Gita also, we know that he said that I am now giving it to you, he's telling Arjuna. And then so that it will continue now. So in the disciplic succession, it will continue. So and then it is continuing now. We are seeing that from Vyasadeva, Narada, then Vyasadeva, like that, there is a disciplic succession that is there. So likewise, he says, I spoke about this knowledge to Vivaswan, Ikshavaku, and then, it continued, but over a period it got lost. If you look at the 4th chapter, there's description there. And then, so this way we can understand, even though the knowledge is pure and it is coming from the Lord, but it is coming into this material world. So the knowledge is getting contaminated because it is not passed on correctly the contamination is not in the scripture or in the words spoken by the Lord, but it is in the way it is re-spoken or retold. There the contamination comes in because it is passing through conditioned souls. So that is why disciplic succession becomes very important. The person who's passing on this knowledge should be above the material contamination. They should not carry these kalmashas. They should not have ego. They should not, I mean, they should be elevated. They should be realized souls. Then, or to reach there, the mode of goodness cultivation is the beginning step. So that is why Prabhupada is linking all this in a way and then putting it across to us, saying that we will have to cultivate the mode of goodness, and then we will be able to understand all this tattva. So this way, how do we raise ourselves to the mode of goodness? That is again by describing or listening to the activities and the pastimes of the personality of Godhead. So this is what is being told by the Rishis. Now the Rishis are saying, please explain, Shaunaka Adi, all the Rishis are saying, please explain what it is. So we would like to hear. And then because Maitreya is a very senior person, what did he tell to Vidura? So they want to hear that. And that's how they are making this inquiry. So this is actually by shifting the conversation from Naimisharanya and then, like that, so they are all actually bringing out the concurrence that is there among the Rishis across the period of time. So even in the times when Maitreya was there, Vidura was eager to hear from him. Even in the times much later in Naimisharanya, the saintly people who are in the mode of goodness and beyond, they want to hear about the glories of the Lord, and they want to hear about the glories of the Lord through the bona fides of the disciplic succession, through personalities like Maitreya, through personalities like Suta Goswami, because they know that he was present when Sukadev Goswami spoke. So the disciplic succession is always kept in mind whenever questions are being asked, and then that much of importance is given because they just take it verbatim, irrespective of whether that person is elder to me, younger to me. So that's the case with Suta Goswami. So many people were present there who were much older than him in that Naimisharanya, but then they all wanted to hear from Suta Goswami because they realized that he has heard from Sukadev Goswami, and then that knowledge is coming unadulterated and then directly. So they wanted to hear. So this is the caution. You can see how they are so cautious. So we also need to exercise some caution and then ensure that we only hear from the disciplic succession or from the authorized parampara. Otherwise, then we should not hear, because then our understanding will get diluted and it will not carry the power to raise us to the mode of goodness and beyond. That it doesn't have that, because it will be communicated in the mode of passion or in the mode of ignorance. Then it's a failed model. It doesn't work that way. So that is why this disciplic succession is important, and that is being reinforced here in the pastimes of Lord Kapila. Then Suta Goswami, again now the conversation is going there. What is Suta Goswami saying? He's telling the same thing. He says the most powerful sage Maitreya was a friend of Vyasadeva. Being encouraged and pleased by Vidura's inquiry about transcendental knowledge, Maitreya spoke as follows. So here we see the alignment to the disciplic succession, because he's a friend of Vyasadeva, and also the inquiry, how it is done. So there's another important aspect of how to inquire. Tadvidi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya. So Vidura was actually inquiring the transcendental knowledge from Maitreya in a way that it pleased Maitreya Rishi, and then he wanted to speak. So in fact, if you recall that conversation, how Vidura went to Maitreya, but he did not. Who directed Vidura to Maitreya? Anybody remembers?
Uddhava. Uddhava.
Uddhava, yeah. Uddhava directed. Why Uddhava directed? Because
he felt himself incapable of doing that.
Yeah, because of his humility, number one. Number two is he also realized that Uddhava and then Vidura is actually elder to Uddhava.
Elder to him.
Sorry, I couldn't hear much. But yes, Vidura.
Maryada Vratikrama Prabhuji.
Sorry, Mataji, you'll have to repeat that. I couldn't hear.
Maryada Vratikrama Prabhuji.
Okay, Maryada Vedikrama. Yeah, okay, fine. So that is what it is. So he wanted Vidura to hear from Maitreya because he said, Maitreya was also present when the Lord spoke to me. So I would suggest that you please hear it, ask the same question to Maitreya. He'll be able to answer it there. And he said, Maitreya is nearby only. That's how the conversation goes. And then Vidura understood Uddhava's where he is coming from. So he agrees. And then he seeks out Maitreya Rishi, and then they meet, and then this entire conversation happens. It's a very long conversation running into more than a canto, I think. So from first to third canto or something like that. So it continues. So this is that conversation, the long conversation, which is being told by Sutta Goswami to Parikshit Maharaj and being retold by Sukadeva Goswami in Naimisharanya and so on. So there is this wonderful continuity that is there. And this continuity, why I'm highlighting, is just to establish the fact that a disciplic succession is very, very important, and how it will have an effect on them. Otherwise, it will not have. It will be like that broken chain of disciplic succession means then the knowledge is diluted and it is gone. Okay. So that's what we are seeing, the essence of today's verses. If you look at the next verse, then again, question and answers. Prabhupada is saying question and answers is very satisfactorily dealt with when the enquirer is bona fide and the speaker is also authorized. Saw that. Here Maitreya is considered a powerful sage, and therefore he is also considered as Bhagavan. So that's the position that is given. There is nothing wrong in use of that word. So this word can be used not only for the Supreme Personality of Godhead, but for anyone who is almost as powerful as the Supreme Lord. And in this way, Prabhupada is justifying that. And then Maitreya is addressed as Bhagavan because he was spiritually far advanced. So he was a personal friend of Vyasadeva, who's an incarnation of the literary incarnation of the Lord. So, and then Maitreya was pleased by Vidura by the humble inquiry. So this is, we just saw this. And that's what Prabhupada is trying to bring out. Then, after all this, Maitreya Rishi begins to speak. That's in the 5th verse, where he says that when Kadama left for the forest, Lord Kapila stayed on the strand of the Bindu Sarovara to please his mother Devavati. So there was another task that he had to finish, which is to take care of the mother. And then he has to also found the Sankhya philosophy, thereby then his purpose of that incarnation will be complete. Now here Prabhupada talks about how the Lord, even though it's the Lord himself who's come as an incarnation, he's carrying out the duties based on the time, place, and circumstances. So he is there as the as the son of somebody, as the father of somebody. So he has to carry out his duties. That is what he is showing. So you all can be anything, but then the moment you are born and then you have a connection, then you have a duty, and that dharma or duty has to be followed, and that is what is being shown here. So here Prabhupada says, in the absence of the father, it is the duty of the grown son to take charge of his mother and serve her to the best of his ability, so that she will not feel separation from her husband. So the son has to be an emotional support to the mother, physical support because of old age, and emotional, financial support. And in modern day, there's a kind of support that the children will have to give to their parents, to both or to anyone, depending on who is there. And it is a duty. There's another thing that is being brought out here. It is the duty of the husband to leave home as soon as their son is grown, and then they take charge of the family affairs. So you cannot continue to linger in the family and then be present there and that kind of thing. That is not our Varnashrama. Of course, in modern times, that is not possible. So what they say is you'll have to disengage, at least mentally. So give the children, even if you're staying with the children or nearby or whatever it is, give them the free hand so that they will be able to lead their lives and not interfere too much. It is for the men as well as the women. It is the parents, both of them, so that they are able to. So we will, instead of trying to, in the excuse of guiding them, we end up dominating. Most often times, that's what we see. Or we try to say, what I say should happen, or I know better than you. So we continue to be attached. But then the mature way of doing it is to I mean, that is not a mature way. That kind of an approach.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. We can't hear you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Okay, we are almost coming to an end. I'm sorry it got disconnected again. It had been raining heavily in Bangalore 2 days. I think there's some issue, I think, because otherwise I'm not able to make out why it is getting disconnected. So sorry about it. I tried my laptop, my mobile, we connected through the mobile hotspot. Now that also got disconnected. So sorry about that. So like I was saying, this mode of goodness is very important. And then I was talking about how we'll have to detach from the worldly day-to-day things and how generally people don't do that because they are in the mode of ignorance or in the mode of passion. Passion as in I want what I say should happen kind of a scenario, or otherwise ignorant, they don't know. But coming to the mode of goodness, understanding the concepts, and then mentally detaching ourselves, if not physically, that is what is being is the expectation now. I mean, we can't go to the forest. That's not advisable. But then you'll have to mentally detach and allow them to lead their lives. They might make mistakes. That's okay. They will learn. They are also individuals. You've given a strong backing. You've told them what it is and all. You've held their hands when it was needed. And then when they are up and running, then you have to allow them to go. We have to allow them to fly. There might be some slip-ups here and there. When the slip-up happens, you should kind of encourage them so that they don't get demotivated or go to wrong path or come to wrong conclusions. You know, that's the kind of support that has to be played. And that support means then we have to be in the mode of goodness. So whatever it is, following Varnashrama Dharma means then it will take you to the mode of goodness. You have to play that role. So this way, we can see how everything is connecting so wonderfully. And then by the examples, like how Lord Kapila, he lived his life, activities that he did, what he did for his mother, for the parent, and then all of that, if you see, and then what he did for her as a role he was playing as a son, what he did is what we'll have to emulate or we have to follow. And what he did as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, we'll have to follow that because he gave the Sankhya philosophy and all of this. So we should understand and then admire and then, accept the mercy of the Lord and then, we'll have to view it in that way because there are two characteristics of Kapila. The second one is coming out here, that of the son and how he's taking care of the mother. And Prabhupada very rightly mentions how the son is a emotional support, physical support for the mother because she is old already and then she's without that husband, so he has to play that role. So this is how this whole conversation is going. So we've come up to, all the 5 we covered. So what happens next, I think that will be addressed by the subsequent speakers. So I'll stop here. If there are any questions or comments anybody has, please go ahead. Otherwise, we can conclude the session.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for the wonderful class. Prabhuji, in today's class, I have a question to be asked, Prabhuji. Like when in the last shloka, when you explained that it is the duty of a son to look after his mother in the absence
Yes.
of his father. Is it only in the absence of, but today's scenario is different, no, Prabhuji? Like no father goes to
Correct.
Ashrama. So he stays at
Correct.
home. And the same way, there is an equal right for a daughter as well. So it becomes,
Yeah.
there will be so much of issues like they blame each other. You look after the mother, you look after the mother. So like that.
True.
So is it that only the son has to look after the mother, or even if the mother is having a daughter, she can also do the same, or how is it, Prabhuji? I'm not able to understand.
Mataji, very nice question, valid question, because when I explained, then I didn't cover everything. But if you look at what our acharyas have said in ISKCON, they've always said that, in fact, Prabhupada himself says, when I say son, I mean son or daughter. Very clearly in his conversations, he means that. And then he has said that. And that is why even like His Holiness Jayapataka Swami Maharaj or any of them, they always refer to, when they say son, I mean, it means like it is the daughter also, because Putra, I mean, I think His Holiness Jayapataka Swami Maharaj gives this example. He says, Putra or Putri, both of them have the ability to get the parent out of the hell called Pu. How does this word Putra come about? Putra is one who gets his father or parents out of the hell called Pu. So Putra means gets it out. So Putri also same thing. No, the root verb is the same. So Putri also has the same ability or the qualification to do that. So that way we are. I mean, there is not so much of a differentiation, because we should understand all this is time, place, and circumstances. The social scenario that existed in the earlier years is not the same as it is now. So with so much of travel, so much of technology, so much of it's a similar different scenario where limitations that are there. Earlier there were so many children. Today you don't have that many children. So there are many aspects there. So time, place, circumstances are different, and so varnashrama is not possible in the physical sense, but in the mental sense it is needed, because that is what leads us to renunciation. Otherwise, where is the renunciation going to happen? Even at 80, the head of the family is involved in the family affairs. Where are you facilitating the children to take care? So when the old person leaves the body, then they all end up fighting among themselves, because they don't know how to react or what I should do or what is the moving forward thing, because they have not been guided or taught in the right way. They think like, okay, now probably they were all waiting for him to go, so they would take it. So because they had seen the father being attached to the family, to the property, or to the business, so they think that's how I should lead my wife. So like my life. So they also do the same thing. They say, okay, now this is my share. Now I'll do the same thing that my dad did with my share or with my bigger share or whatever it is. So it's all very confusing. But then when it comes to the child, it's either the daughter or the son. They have this capability to get the parent out of the hell. I mean, so it is fine. It is the daughter also is okay. And so social circumstances, sometimes you'll see parents are depending on the daughter, which is okay. Maybe or financially they are depending. Anyway, they can depend emotionally. So financial aspect was not in the forefront in the earlier days. That's all. But the support was there. The daughter used to support, she used to take support, everything was there. But then financial aspect was kept away for some reason. That was the societal setup that time. This time here now, it may not be like that, because there is no one else. Then sometimes some monetary, because then they are also in a position to earn and all that. Our society has become like that. So then some support is given. It is not to be condemned, or it is not unvedic or anything like that. That's my opinion on how we should look at this. So the daughters are supporting. Yes, Mataji.
Both are equally responsible. to take care?
The responsibility lies with both, because as a child, if it's only the daughter, then that's the parent. So you'll have to look after. It is a societal setup that said that the son will take care, but then now son or the offspring should take care. So or the support has to be given. Emotional support, financial support, whatever is lacking has to be given. Then only you are doing the duty. Otherwise, you're not doing the duty. In fact, the daughter will have double responsibility. Responsibility as the in-laws place, because she has got this thing, and this side also. Likewise, even the son-in-law also. So most often times we see the son-in-law and the daughter supporting the parent. It's not just the daughter. In fact, both of them together. I've seen so many instances where the son-in-law acts like a son in many ways. So those barriers are not there. Earlier it was there, we will not even have water in the Samandhi's house or whatever. Those things, those barriers are not there now. So it is like, in fact, it's supported by the son-in-law, they do that. So that is also there.
Actually, it is the responsibility of a human life. I understand.
Correct.
Prabhuji.
Correct.
Each one of us has
Hare
to.
Krishna, Prabhuji.
Thank you so much.
Prabhuji, practically what happens is, since you mentioned the financial aspect, and we were talking of equality of the son and the daughter, in many cases what happens is, though they say that both son and daughter are the same, many times, especially the property is more of given to the son, what I've seen in many cases. But the daughter also ends up looking after, and because of that, there is a huge tussle in the daughter's family. In many cases, in such cases, what should I have seen this reason being given by the son-in-law, that your parents are not equal to the son and the daughter, but they expect that. So, I mean, because we are in the transition of equality between son and daughter, it is not so much.
Very true. In fact, that is a decision taken in the ignorance or in passion, or they have this attachment to the son because of the conditioning that is there. They feel like son means he is the same thing. He is the one who will liberate me, he will do shraddh to me and all that. So they'll take me forward. So some attachment is there. So there is a tendency to lean towards the son. Daughter anyway is parayagar kind of a thing, which is in between stage where, like you said, no, there's to fully, we're not there. So some mistakes happen at the start, and that continues. So because that happened, now we cannot do. The son-in-law will retort like that, or the daughter herself will feel, oh, I have been given a raw deal, so now I look at them, they're enjoying. So actually, you are setting up a situation where after the head goes, the man who's responsible is setting up a situation where after his absence, after he leaves the body, what he is leaving behind is not, they are not amicable among themselves. So you have to create a situation where they will live amicably together. So for that, you will have to ensure that you're equal. This is a primary thing. Even when you're alive, when you're taking decisions, when there is a fight, you try to resolve and then make it amicable. But suddenly, in this matter, they'll go by some preconceived notion, and then they'll say, no, as long as the decision I take is going to make them live together, that's the right decision. No, there's nothing like right and wrong. In some instances, the daughter itself might say, like, yeah, my brother needs it more because he's financially low. So let him take a larger chunk. I'm okay. Whereas I am little more well provided in my in-law space, so I can take, but I'll take something because I have to get something. So like that, there are many instances like that. There are many instances where the opposite also happens. So it is not like this is right, this is wrong. It is about situational. It is about the need, and then how it makes both of them happy, the siblings, and then they are satisfied with each other, and they still continue to live and love each other, and then continue that relationship as brother and sister. So that is important, and that should be in the mind of the parent when any decision they take, whether they write a will or whatever they are doing. So then it becomes that much more better. Otherwise, you are just paving the way for this thing. If you listen to, because each one will give an opinion, an advice based on their experience, and they'll say, no, do like this, no, do like that. But this no, do like this, like that, there is nothing concrete, because it will depend on the situation. Your house, I mean, one's house situation could be different from another in terms of financial needs or even desires. Somebody might be of that propensity where they want more. Somebody might be of a propensity they don't want more. So with children, we have seen that, no? When they were all small children, that's how you fed them. That's how you grew them up. Oh, this fellow, he'll ask for 2, so I'll keep 2. I mean, whatever, you did all that antics, but still you did it in a way that everybody grew up together without any ill will. But then suddenly, why you should not do that when in the final stages? So, yeah.
Hare.
Okay.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Basically,
Vasudha
situation
Mataji.
based.
Situational. It is situational, Mataji. There's nothing like right and wrong. Time, place, and circumstances. No. What was a good decision for one family doesn't mean that it's a good decision for the other family or the next door family. It could be different because each of them are individuals. Each one are different. So somebody might be satisfied with A. Somebody might be satisfied with B. Somebody would like idea C or the division C. So there are many things. So you'll have to see. The whole idea is what? So that siblings are together still. They support each other. And then they continue. They don't end up hating each other or not looking at the faces of each other or turning away when that person comes. It should not be like that. Then you are set them up for failure, and then their children again will carry that, and then the discipline succession carries. So the parampara carries there. So which is not correct. The hatred or whatever, the ill will, which is not correct. So there's a responsibility. And all this will only happen in the mode of goodness. So today we are able to discuss this because we are all in the mode of goodness at this point, and then trying to see it in a very subjective way and not emotionally connect ourselves and then tangle ourselves in many things, and then it becomes very difficult to understand.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Vasudha Mataji has a doubt, Prabhuji. Yes, Mataji. Okay. Is it okay,
Hare
Prabhuji?
Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Can we
Hare
take the
Krishna,
question,
Prabhuji.
Please go ahead.
Yes, Mataji.
Prabhuji, in the first sloka, the Vedas are meant to elevate from mode of ignorance to platform of goodness. It is given, no, Prabhuji. Here, Vedas refers to, Prabhuji, exactly I wanted to know.
Vedas are the whole bunch of it. So in that, it is there which will allow us to move to the mode of goodness. So that is what we discussed now, no? So Vedas, which give so many activities, which teach us the aspect of how to be, what do you call that? Generous, giving this thing, helping the poor, all of this, Upavedas, Veda, everything together, helping somebody in need, somebody distressful, everything if you take, no, then it
Scriptures
helps us
also
what
comes,
you should
Prabhu.
do.
Scriptures also
Which
comes.
one?
Scriptures, Bhagavad Gita,
Which one?
Bhagavatam. Scriptures.
Bhagavad Gita, scriptures, yes, Vedas included, because Bhagavad Gita is the essence of all Vedas. So it is the Vedas. So
Okay,
it is inclusive. Everything is inclusive. So if you want to know like that technically, you have the Vedas, that means the 4 Vedas. The scriptures, when we say Vedic scriptures, it is the 4 Vedas, then there is this Aranyakas, then there is this, what is that? Puranas, and then there is this, I'm not able to recall those headings. So all of them together.
Upanishads.
So,
Upanishads.
Upanishads. Yeah, thank you. Sorry, I missed that. Upanishads, Puranas, everything included.
Okay, Prabhu. Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
So that is why they say, no, Sanatan Dharma is all about, it's like a library. So, and with so many sections in it, our Vedas. It's not like one single book. It's a library which has different sections, and under those sections, there are so many relevant scriptures which are there. So it depends on what you want, and accordingly, then you'll get that kind of an answer, and then you have to live your life.
In short, Prabhuji, for short, it's all about Krishna's teachings, right? Vedas.
Yes, Krishna's
instructions
all
coming
coming
and
from the Lord.
Yeah.
Yes, everything is coming from the Lord. Now, if you see, this is what we will have to do, right? Like to see it all coming from the Lord. Like now that we were just doing this shloka also, we know that we'll make somebody sit down and all that, and then calm him down. So calming down means like we are taking the help of time, which is another energy of the Lord. So like this, we'll have to connect everything to Krishna, and then depend on Krishna, and then say that, okay, so this way then the mercy is coming. So this means that we are able to, like, this is Krishna consciousness in one way. So try to keep on linking everything, connect to Krishna, everything. So then eventually there will be nothing material, everything becomes spiritual. That's what the Acharyas say.
Ishavasyamidam sarvam. So the same
Yes,
way.
everything belongs to the Lord. Yes, Ishavasyam idam sarvam yat kincha jagatyam jagat tene taktena bunjita magrada kasyasvit dhanam. Being said, it teaches about satisfaction. It teaches about acknowledging that everything belongs to Krishna. So I am a receiver and not a doer or an achiever. So all of it is covered in that first Upanishad. Thank you so much for bringing that up.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for the wonderful
Krishna.
class and enlightening on the practical aspects of life, wherein so much of we, according to our experiences. Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Yeah, it is. Yes, thank you so much. Hare Krishna. We can end the session here.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yeah, with
With the
Vaishnava
prayer, we
pranams.
can end, Prabhuji. Vancha
Yes,
kalpatarubhyascha
Vancha
kripa
Kalpatarubhyascha
patitanam
Pavanebhyo
pavanebhyo
Namo Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo
Jai Srila
Shri Kote
Prabhupada ki jai.
Vaishnava
Santara
Jai
Srila
Gautam
Bhagavatam ki
Jai
jai.
Gaur Sitananda Ramanande.
All
Hari
glories
Hari.
to you,
Hare Hare
Prabhuji. All
Bol.
glories to you.
Hare
All
Krishna.
glories to
Hare
you. All
Krishna
Thank you,
devotees.
Prabhuji.
All
Hare
glories to
Krishna.
all the devotees.
Thank
All
you,
glories to
Thank
all
you,
the
Prabhuji.
devotees.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
Pranam.
Krishna.
Ki jai.
And the pranams.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
With
Hare
your permission,
Krishna.
I'll end the session,
Thank you,
Prabhuji.
Prabhuji.